I believe everyone should experience a safari at least once in their lifetime. It's an experience that will stay with you forever. Welcome to a new episode of Most Memorable Journeys. It's been a long time that I've done an episode on my own, but I'm excited to share a journey through the heart of East Africa where I explored Kenya and Tanzania with you today. Two of the most iconic safari destinations on the planet. For someone like me who has traveled to over 100 countries, Africa was always the continent that intrigued me the most. Despite its immense beauty and cultural richness, it remains one of the least visited continents by many travelers, and I sometimes wonder why. I've spent some time in South Africa, worked in a few North African countries, and even visited Mombasa briefly many years ago. But this trip, this adventure, was going to be something different. When I first decided to embark on this safari adventure, I knew that there would be quite a bit of preparation involved. Africa, after all, is a vast and diverse continent, and there are many logistical details to sort out before setting off. Kenya and Tanzania both require visas, but thankfully the process is made easier with online applications. However, when I realized I would enter Kenya twice, once upon arrival and again when coming back from Tanzania, I was a little confused. I wondered if I needed a multiple entry visa. And after some research, I discovered that you can use a single entry visa to re-enter Kenya from Tanzania, as long as you are within the validity period of your initial visa, which, if I remember well, is 90 days. Additionally, I needed to double-check my yellow fever vaccination. These vaccinations are supposed to last a lifetime, but I couldn't find my certificate from a long time ago. So I got a new shot at the Limassol hospital and was informed that a booster shot is recommended after many years anyway. I had last received mine, I think, in 1985, when I worked in the Maldives. So it was time for a booster. Another important step was getting malaria pills, as Africa is known for being a malaria risk zone. Although every lodge and tent camp was equipped with mosquito nets, which gave the accommodation a charming and rustic feel, it's still better to be safe than sorry. One of the final tips I learned was that you cannot go on safari with a hard suitcase. The jeeps simply don't have the capacity to carry them. You need a soft bag, which makes packing both a practical and exciting part of the journey. It's amazing how even the smallest details add to the excitement and anticipation of the adventure ahead. The day finally arrived, and I boarded my EgyptAir flight at my home airport in Larnaca, Cyprus, for the 1-hour flight to Cairo in Egypt. It's quite fascinating how close Cyprus is to both Africa and Asia. In fact, it's just 20 minutes away from Beirut and a mere hour from Cairo. Due to a long layover in Cairo, I decided to visit my dear friend Nihal, who had invited me to her home for lunch. This was a welcome diversion before continuing my journey to Nairobi. Getting out of Cairo airport and navigating the visa process is an adventure in itself. After some queuing at a place where you actually think it's a bank, but it's not, it's where you get the visa, I was on my way to Zamalek in a taxi. Nihal and I first met during our master coach training in Dubai. And despite the distance between us, our friendship has stayed strong. She is one of those rare people who is easy to love and easy to reconnect with, no matter how much time passes. We had a lovely time catching up before I headed back to Cairo Airport for my flight to Nairobi. I arrived in Nairobi at 4:30 in the morning, and the process of clearing customs and collecting my luggage was smooth and efficient. The tour company that we were traveling with, Gate 1, was waiting for me and gave me a very warm welcome. It was a perfect start to what would be an incredible journey. I checked into the hotel at 5 o'clock in the morning, took a quick shower, changed clothes, and headed to the breakfast room where I met my lovely friend Sora, who had arrived the night before. We shared a laugh over breakfast before meeting the rest of the group. It turned out we were a group of 13 people sharing 3 jeeps for our safari adventure. On the rooftop of the hotel, we all introduced ourselves and then set off on our way with our fantastic driver guide, Marcus, who was a walking wildlife encyclopedia. Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, is a very energetic and vibrant city that blends urban culture with natural beauty. It's the only city in the world where you can see wild animals right on the outskirts, specifically Nairobi National Park, where you can spot giraffes, zebras, and lions within the city skyline in the background. While I didn't get a chance to explore Nairobi on this trip, I know that one day I will return to discover the city's treasures. I was jealous when I heard my fellow travelers talk about what they had done the day before because they arrived before me. They were talking about the Giraffe Center, the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust, and the Karen Blixen Museum. But I didn't have time, so it will have to be next time. Our first stop was Lake Nakuru, which is located in Kenya's Great Rift Valley. Lake Nakuru is famous for its flamingo population, particularly during the wet season, when the lake's shoreline is covered with millions of these beautiful birds. The park is also home to both black and white rhinos, and it's one of the best places to see these incredible creatures. The area's acacia forests, rocky cliffs, and expansive plains make it one of Kenya's most scenic spots. Our overnight stay was at the Lion Hill Lodge, located inside the Lake Nakuru National Park. And the game drive in the afternoon was a thrilling introduction to the wildlife of East Africa. On the drive from Nairobi to Nakuru, we had seen sheep and cows and goats, but then suddenly it all changed. I'll never forget the first time I saw a giraffe. It felt surreal. I had seen them in zoos before, but this was different. These animals were in their natural habitat, roaming freely across the plains. During the drive, we spotted our first lion, which was an incredible moment for me, marking the beginning of my safari adventure. The next day, we set off for Maasai Mara National Reserve, which is known worldwide for its breathtaking beauty and the annual migration of over 1.5 million wildebeests, zebras, and gazelles. It is located in southwestern Kenya, and it's part of the larger Serengeti ecosystem, which spans across both Kenya and Tanzania. The Maasai Mara is also known for its population of big cats, lions, cheetahs, and leopards, and its cultural significance as the home of the Maasai people. We stayed at the Fig Tree Camp, a luxury tented camp along the Mara River. The sounds of hippos grunting in the river at night was a surreal experience, and it added to the authentic charm of our stay. Not everybody was charmed, some people were scared, but that's another story. The camp was guarded by Maasai warriors, ensuring we were safe at all times while immersed in this wild environment. Over the next few days, we went on several game drives, and I became more and more captivated by the animals and the land. The initial thought that I might get bored of seeing the same animals over and over again quickly vanished as I became more attuned to the different species and their behaviors. After saying goodbye to our Kenyan drivers, we crossed the border at the Isabania checkpoint into Tanzania and were welcomed by our Tanzanian driver guides. And Marcus from Kenya was replaced by Harlequin from Tanzania, who was just as friendly, helpful, and knowledgeable. He also experienced his first challenge shortly after lunch. We had a flat tire, but it was fixed in no time. These guys know what they are doing. After a couple of hours, we entered the Serengeti, one of the most famous national parks in the world. The Serengeti is known for its vast, endless plains and its annual wildebeest migration, which is often called one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. The park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is home to an incredible array of wildlife, including lions, leopards, elephants, and cheetahs. We spent 2 nights at Mbalakai Camp, which was a perfect base for our Serengeti adventure. The camp was well equipped and it offered delicious food, comfortable accommodation, and the kind of hospitality you only find in Africa. The staff made sure that we had everything we needed, including a hot water bottle in my bed when I went to sleep. It gets cold in the Serengeti in the night. I will never forget the Maasai stories shared around the fire pit. Whether or not every detail is entirely true, the traditional Maasai lifestyle centers around their cattle, which are the heart of their existence and their primary source of sustenance. In the patriarchal culture of the Maasai, a man's wealth and status is measured by the number of cattle, wives, and children he has. A herd of 50 cattle is considered respectable, and the more wives and children one has, the more esteemed he is within the community. The Maasai are known for being among the tallest people in Africa, and their physical strength is remarkable. Much of this strength is attributed to their unique diet, which is rich in calcium. The traditional Maasai diet is built around 6 main foods: milk, meat, fat, blood, honey, and tree bark. They drink both fresh and curdled milk, often from a calabash, and sometimes mix it with fresh cattle blood, which is consumed as a nutrient-rich beverage. The blood is also boiled and used in cooking, often paired with ugali, creating a nutritious and cultural significant meal. This diet provides the Maasai with both the energy and the physical strength that they are known for, enabling them to thrive in harsh environments. One of the most iconic and fascinating things and aspects that I saw of the Maasai culture is the traditional jumping dance known as Adamu. This dance carries much deeper significance beyond its energetic acrobatics. Performed by young Maasai warriors, Adamu is an essential part of ceremonial occasions, such as weddings, religious rites, and other important cultural events. The dance is a display of strength and vitality, where warriors jump high into the air in synchronized fashion, often in competition to see who can jump the highest. This ritual symbolizes both physical and spiritual prowess, as well as the warrior's readiness and ability to defend his community and honor his cultural heritage. Hearing these stories by the fire pit, with the crackling flames illuminating the faces of the Maasai warriors, I was transported into a world so different from my own. The Maasai culture, with its deep respect for tradition and connection to nature, left a profound impression on me. It reminded me that every culture has its own unique wisdom and strength, and that the simple yet rich way of life of the Maasai is a testament to their resilience and harmony with the land. The absolute highlight of my stay in the Serengeti was without a doubt the sunrise hot air balloon ride. As the first rays of light began to break over the horizon, the vast expanse of the Serengeti's plain unfolded beneath us like a living, breathing canvas. The early morning air was cool and crisp, and the stillness of the landscape was truly mesmerizing. As we floated gently upwards, the soft whisper of the balloon's burners was the only sound that broke the serene quiet. Below, the Serengeti stretched as far as the eye could see, its golden grasses shimmering in the soft light of dawn. The plains came alive as we hovered above herds of wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles, all grazing peacefully as the first light bathed the land in hues of orange, pink, and purple. There was something profoundly humbling about witnessing the wild in its purest, in its most untouched form, with the animals moving freely in their natural habitat. What made this experience even more magical was the sense of peace and tranquility that enveloped us as we drifted high above the land. The vastness of the Serengeti seemed endless, and in that moment, I felt a deep connection to the earth and the animals beneath us. Watching the sunrise over such an iconic landscape, knowing that this view has remained largely unchanged for centuries, was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I will treasure forever. After the balloon ride, we were treated to champagne and a little dance by the staff and a luxurious breakfast in the middle of the Serengeti, a perfect way to celebrate this adventure. As we sipped champagne and took in the views, we couldn't help but marvel at the sheer beauty of the Serengeti, and I realized that this was one of those moments that you could never truly describe in words. It was an experience that had to be lived. But the adventure didn't stop here. After our breakfast, we rejoined our safari group and continued our exploration of the park. But the magic of that morning stayed with me for the rest of the trip. The Serengeti, with its incredible wildlife and stunning landscapes, is a place where time seems to stand still. And the hot air balloon ride was the perfect way to witness the untamed beauty of Africa from above. However, everything has an end, and we had to leave the Serengeti, and next we visited the Ngorongoro crater, the world's largest unbroken volcanic caldera. I had never heard of it. That crater was formed millions of years ago when a massive volcano erupted and collapsed in itself. It is now a haven for wildlife and a geological wonder. The crater's lush grasslands, forests, and soda lakes support a wide range of animals, including elephants, lions, rhinos, and buffaloes. The area is part of the Eastern Rift Valley, which has long been an area of intense volcanic activity and geological significance. We stayed at the Ngorongoro Oldiani Mountain Lodge, which was a beautiful property, offering stunning views of the crater. The atmosphere was peaceful and the service was impeccable. It reminded me of the good old colonial times when gin and tonics were served at the swimming pool. It was the perfect place to relax after a busy day of game drives and exploring. Before heading back to Kenya, the next morning we visited Shanga. Shanga is a social enterprise in Arusha that employs people with disability to create unique handmade products like jewelry, glassware, and homeware. The work done at Shanga is remarkable, and it was truly inspiring to see how these talented individuals have transformed their lives through meaningful work. The visit to Shanga was one of the highlights of the trip, and it reminded me of the importance of empowering individuals through opportunity. Lunch at the Arusha coffee shop was a special treat, and then it was time to drive towards the border and say goodbye to Harlequin and the other drivers. To our great surprise and joy, our old driver guide team was waiting for us on the other side, and going back into Marcus' Jeep felt very much like going back home. The final leg of our journey took us to Amboseli National Park in southern Kenya, famous for its large herds of African elephants. The park is located at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro, and the views of the mountain towering above the elephants were breathtaking. Watching the elephants roam freely in the park was an unforgettable experience. We stayed at All to Kai Lodge, and we had a view. I had a view called the Elephant View, and the elephants walking by. It was like a surreal way to start my mornings. We also witnessed an elephant stampede, which was both funny and fascinating. And apparently the largest land animal, the elephant, had been spooked by a swarm of bees. After 2 days in Amboseli, several game drives, a bit of swimming, lots of nice food, it was time to return to Nairobi and catch my flight home. This trip was truly a journey of a lifetime, an unforgettable adventure that touched my heart in many ways I had never imagined. The high-quality hospitality, the driver guides who were knowledgeable, polite, and kind, the clean washrooms in the middle of the jungle, the beautiful smile of the people, the wildlife, the landscapes, and the people made this one of the most memorable experiences in my life. My fellow travelers, especially Zora, of course, and Claudio from Vancouver, and Terry and Jean from Ohio, I will cherish our picture and video airdropping forever, and I am so grateful for all your kindness. I believe everyone should experience a safari at least once in their lifetime. It's an experience that will stay with you forever. If you enjoy my podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You will find all the information in the show notes.